going on, guys? Welcome to the episode of the Love in Reality podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, I'm going to be recapping episode 8 of The Snake. We are winding down to the final few episodes of the series, and we still have quite a few people left in this household, and it's going to be interesting to see how things unfold over the next few weeks, because honestly, we have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... 8, 9 people left in 3 episodes, I believe, that we have left in this season. So let's dive right into this week's episode. Obviously, we're still mourning the loss of Catherine from the show. I was going to be intrigued to see what the dynamic would be on this show without her there. And I was really hoping that, not to say it would be boring without her, but, it is what it is. But Catherine gives Jordan the advantage this week for the competition. The first competition is, let's see, the pit looks absolutely gross and filled with like fish guts and other nonsense. So within that, we see that they have to slither their way through the water filled with this chum, and under the ropes under the nastiness is gold snake medallions. They find one, they have to deposit the medallion into a crate. Each medallion equals 1 snake egg. From there, they put everybody's snake eggs goes into like one of those little spinny bingo looking things. Jim will pull out the name of the winner of who is the snake this week. Obviously, the more snake eggs you get into the thing, you have a better opportunity of being the snake. One of the more interesting things of this competition was seeing that John decided to put all of his eggs in Frank's basket, allowing the potential maneuvering of an alliance here, if you know what I mean. So the results were as followed. Matt McLean, John and Amanda had 18, Jordan had 13, Alyssa 15, Derek 20, John 0 by proxy of Frank's 37 leading the competition. Second place was Jack with 25 and Brett was 22. However, Jim did not announce who won the snake. This week, there's going to be a secret snake. John is trying to butter up Jordan while Amanda wants Jack out the door. So, as a result, we are seeing everybody kind of make their move inside the system. From here, we see Jim arrive in the confessional, and he says that he's going to wait for the next person to come to the confessional. That next person is, in fact, this week's snake. It is revealed that we had our first ever 2-time snake winner with Jack, and he was super excited. He is the first person to be the snake twice. John, of course, tells Jack there were 3 votes. So obviously, we have some wheeling and dealing, right? Nobody knows that Jack's a snake yet, so everybody's talking. So John pulls Jack aside and lets him know that there was 3 votes for him last week for people that wanted to eliminate him. He pins Amanda as one of the people that he thinks that wanted Jack out. He never said that, quote unquote, but Jack has it made up in his mind. Jim reveals to everyone that Jack is now the snake. McLean and Jack obviously now have the opportunity to stay the night in the snake lair. Of course, we'll read between the lines of what went down in that household, but we're not here to talk about Love Island for the snake. We're here to talk about who is eliminated from this week's competition. So this really kind of went down almost as I expected. The only problem is, and I'm starting to see, is it's interesting to watch the relationship from Brett and Derek start to unfold more and more each week. Because obviously Jack was going to pick McLean. McLean obviously was going to pick Brett. And Brett continues his relationship with Derek by picking Derek. Jack isn't exactly thrilled by the idea of this because Derek in turn picks Amanda, which obviously we saw going to happen because their relationship's close. Derek, Amanda, that's an alliance there. And then there's some ancillary pieces within that. Amanda, right before her opportunity to pick, destroys John while picking Jordan. Like, it was insane. However, this gives John the opportunity to out Amanda and say, Amanda fights saying that she was part of her scheme, part of his scheme last week. They get some bickering back and forth. And then, of course, Jack realizes how hard she fights back means Amanda is a little bit lying here. And she's been outed for her as a strong player, which this to me, bad gameplay by her. You want to, anytime we have seen somebody be vocal, it automatically in turn becomes a target on their back. And that's exactly what happened with Catherine. And of course, we saw her downfall shortly after that. This could be the same thing for her. Now, that said, she ends up picking Jordan, and then Jordan picks Alyssa, meaning it's down to John and Frank for Jack to eliminate it. Now, to me, wise thing, Frank gets eliminated. However, thinking about this out loud in my head as I was unpacking it in the moment, and even unpacking in my conversation with the person eliminated, the wise decision was probably to eliminate John in this moment, because eliminate Frank, it's going to put a big target on your back. There's a lot of people in here intertwined with Frank, and that might have put this big target on his back. So because of that, I still think it's a bad decision that Jack eliminated John, but ultimately he did, meaning we are down to the final 8. Again, 8 people left with I think only 2 episodes left. But maybe we'll have a double or triple elimination next week. Maybe have a final 5 heading into the finale. But how it all unfolds will be interesting to see. We have Derek, Jordan, Alyssa, Jack, Brett, McLean, Frank, and Amanda still left. So 8 players vying for that spot. And like I do each and every week, I will have my power rankings here after episode 8. I'm going to make a tie here at third between Brett and Derek. I think this is the first time Brett has appeared in my top 3, but this alliance between these two, I think these two are going to make the two. I think these two have every opportunity to make it to the finals because of how competitive they are. And that alliance to me between Brett and Derek might be the strongest in the household. I think there's maybe outside of maybe Frank and Alyssa, but if you factor in all of the things of this show, Brett and Derek might be in the driver's seat to be in the final 3. I believe. So because of that, I got them tied for third. Actually tied for third, second, and third. It's like a tie. You know what I mean? They're second and third together. 2A, 2B. 2A, one's 2, one's 3. However you want to do it. I think I put Derek a little bit stronger just because I feel like he's won more competitions here. And then my number 1 spot's Amanda. Now, I will say with that being said, I don't feel confident in this because I feel like, again, she was out of this week, but the way that she's been playing and the way she's been communicating, I feel like she has a little alliances here with Frank, a little alliances with Frank and Alyssa. I think she's obviously friendly with Derek, which obviously helps. Derek and Brett together. That means if, they are picking one another, she's available there to be picked as well. So let me know what you guys think of the 8th episode of The Snake. Who do you think are in the top 3 heading into episode 9? Let me know in the comments below. We'll be back next week. And remember, tune into my interview with John tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. It'll drop right here on the YouTube channel. Very, very excited for you to check out my conversation with John.